Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. For decades, we've basically been sold this idea that beauty is pain, right? That physical suffering is just the totally normal price of admission if you want to look good. Well, today, we are completely challenging that narrative. We're going to weigh the temporary, fleeting appearance of high heels against the absolute permanent reality of your physical health. We're going to unpack the true cost of putting a temporary look above your body's fundamental well-being, getting into the biomechanics, the psychology, and the undeniable long-term effects of what we choose to put on our feet.
So we've got to start with a really stark question. Is it actually worth feeling pain to meet a beauty standard? I mean, we're talking about enduring hours, sometimes a whole day or an entire night of agonizing, toe-crushing, calf-burning pain, all just to satisfy a standard that, let's be real, nobody else truly cares about. When the source material unpacks exactly why we wear shoes that literally hurt us, it points out something pretty fascinating. It usually boils down to wanting to please others or even just a lack of self-esteem. We put ourselves through physical suffering for this external validation that completely vanishes the second the night is over. But the damage to our bodies? Yeah, that sticks around.
And, this brings up a cultural phenomenon that perfectly captures how absurd this all is. It's that all too familiar, kind of humorous, but mostly tragic image of a woman limping barefoot down the Las Vegas Strip at 2 in the morning, holding a pair of incredibly expensive shoes in her hands, because the pain just became totally unbearable. We have all seen it. Or honestly, maybe we've been there ourselves, at a wedding or a night out. It's the ultimate irony. You buy the shoes to look elegant, but the physical reality literally forces you to walk barefoot on dirty pavement just to get a single moment of relief.
Which brings us to a really crucial concept: false elegance. Look, if your footwear requires you to sacrifice your physical health, if it makes you walk poorly, if you're stumbling and losing your balance, and if it demands outright suffering just for some temporary external validation, that is absolutely not true elegance. True elegance should literally never demand that you go to war with your own anatomy. Real elegance is found in moving with security, freedom, and an undeniable sense of well-being. If you're wincing with every single step, that grace is completely lost.
All right, let's look at the actual science here. Because when we compare a natural gait against an altered gait, the contrast is alarming. The exact second you slip your feet into stilettos or tight, rigid platforms, you instantly abandon your body's natural, evolved stride. You force your feet into this altered gait that unnaturally overloads your entire skeletal structure. And it's not just about your feet hurting. This altered walking pattern sends these shock waves of stress right up your legs. It overloads your ankles, it jars your knees, it misaligns your hips, and it puts immense pressure on your spine. You are essentially fighting your body's natural engineering with every step you take. It's basically a biomechanical domino effect inside your body. Let's walk through it. Step 1, the heel height increases and the natural balance of your foot is instantly compromised. Step 2, boom, your body weight is violently displaced away from the heel and thrust entirely onto the front of the foot, which, by the way, is an area totally not designed to carry your full load for that long. Step 3, because your center of gravity just fell off a cliff, your muscles and joints have to constantly overcompensate. Your calves tighten up, your lower back arches weirdly, all just to keep you upright. And finally, step 4, this constant, unnatural strain inevitably leads to chronic fatigue, severe muscle tension, and real long-term postural problems.
But hey, there is a better way. And what's so compelling about the research in this explainer is how it frames the solution. Making the choice to wear a shoe that actually cares for your body. It isn't just about practical orthopedics. It is fundamentally an act of deep self-love. It's a physical manifestation of high self-esteem. When you choose a healthy shoe, you're loudly declaring that your comfort, your health, and your physical integrity are vastly more important than seeking some external approval or following a painful trend. You're choosing to validate yourself.
So, you might be wondering, okay, but what exactly makes a shoe healthy? Well, it all starts with one specific number: 3. To let your body move naturally, to maintain a proper center of gravity, and to completely avoid that devastating domino effect we just talked about, the absolute maximum height for a truly healthy, supportive heel is just 3 centimeters. That's roughly 1 to just over an inch. Anything above that, and you start shifting that weight forward and forcing your joints to overcompensate all over again.
But it's not just about the heel height. If you want to walk with genuine safety and freedom, your shoes absolutely have to check a few specific boxes. First up, that low heel of 1 to 3 centimeters. Second, a wide toe box. Your toes actually need to splay out and move freely to give you balance, not be crushed into some narrow point. Third, a flexible sole that actually moves with the mechanics of your foot instead of acting like a rigid plank of wood.
Fourth, good arch support. And finally, shoes that let your weight distribute evenly across your whole foot. Prioritizing these features over whatever happens to be trending this season is literally the key to physical freedom. And this reveals two entirely different paradigms of beauty. On one side, you have what we can call heel beauty. The source material points out that this is driven by a focus on temporary appearance, a craving for external validation, and basically just accepting pain. It really shows a lack of true care for oneself. But on the other side, we have authentic beauty. This is driven by internal validation, true health, genuine self-care, and the authenticity of how you carry yourself in the world. Authentic beauty doesn't hurt. It protects your posture. It lets you move with integrity. It's the physical embodiment of actually respecting your own body.
I really want to take a second to let this next insight sink in, because the source material drops this incredible quote that just hits the nail on the head. Fashion changes every season. Your body must accompany you for a lifetime. It is such a simple, profound truth, and yet we ignore it all the time. Fashion trends are completely fleeting. They change every few months just to sell you new stuff, but your physical body, your spine, your knees, your joints, that is the one true companion you have for your entire life. Damaging your permanent, lifelong companion for a temporary, seasonal trend is just a fundamentally flawed trade-off.
Which really makes you think about timelines, right? We are so conditioned to only think about right now. Time point zero. We think, how does this outfit look today? How am I going to look at this party tonight? But you have to stop thinking only about today. You got to start projecting into the future. Imagine the state of your posture, the health of your joints, the chronic pain you might be dealing with 20 or even 40 years down the line. The choices you make today compound over decades. Every single hour you spend forcing your body into an unnatural, painful position, you are writing a check that your joints are going to have to cash decades from now.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on before you pick out your next pair of shoes or before you pack for your next trip. How exactly do you want to be walking 40 years from now? Do you want to be moving with stiffness, dealing with chronic pain, and paying the ultimate price for decades of false elegance? Or do you want to be walking with the exact same safety, freedom, and structural integrity that you have today? The choice between long-term health and a temporary appearance is entirely yours. Choose self-love. Choose authentic beauty. Choose the shoes that actually support the amazing body that carries you through life. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I really hope this transforms the way you look at your closet forever.